This is Barnstable Today for Thursday, January 22nd. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford, and just a quick reminder, the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, town.barnstable.ma.us.
Repairing a severely deteriorated bulkhead in Osterville gets a green light from the Conservation Commission. That's our lead story. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
At this week's meeting, Conservation Commission Chair Dennis Houle read the notice of intent.
Town of Barnstable, DPW, repair severely deteriorated sheet pile bulkhead at West Bay Road by constructing cantilevered sheet pile bulkhead placed approximately 10 inches seaward from existing structure at terminus of West Bay Road, Osterville, as shown on Assessors Map 116. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, I'm Brian Jones with Ocean and Coastal Consultants, the coastal engineer on the project, representing the town, and then, of course, Bob Bergman. What we have is a 50-foot, linear foot sheet pile bulkhead at the end of West Bay Road in Osterville. Severe deterioration, large holes opened up in it. It's been patched together and repaired in the past. There are a number of road plates existing on the site and Jersey barriers at the end of the road there to protect it, the public from there. What we're simply proposing to do is oversheet the project, the existing bulkhead, as close as we can to the existing sheets. We're going to do it with a cantilevered sheet pile bulkhead, so there won't be any need for any tiebacks or whales. And then replacing the fender piles pretty much in kind in the ladder that's there. The second part of the project is also to replace 2 existing catch basins in kind, and the town will also be doing some drainage improvements a little bit farther up the road, which falls within the jurisdiction, consisting of 3x6 precast leach chambers. I think that's right.
Okay. We have 2 letters. The first one is from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, saying the project will not adversely affect the actual resource area habitat of state-protected rare wildlife species, and secondly, does not occur within priority habitat. The second letter is from the Division of Marine Fisheries. Marine Fisheries has the following concerns with the project. Reconstruction of the bulkhead should be limited to the footprint of the existing structure as much as possible. Expansion of the footprint into the waters of the Commonwealth could result in the loss of mapped habitat, shellfish habitat. Any debris or material from the old bulkhead found on the seaward side of the bulkhead should be removed during construction. Mean low water depths of the bulkhead are shown as 0.0. As much work as possible should be conducted from the upland side of the bulkhead to minimize impacts on the benthic habitat. And fuel spills from refueling of equipment will adversely impact sensitive marine resource areas. If equipment is refueled on site, adequate containment and cleanup materials should be required.
The bulkhead repair at the end of West Bay Road was approved.
Meanwhile, the topic of Phragmites also popped up at the meeting with a request from the town's Conservation Division for the go-ahead to control them at a site in Osterville and one in Barnstable.
The item also included a blanket request to treat other Phragmite infestations when perceived needs occur. Rob Gatewood, who heads up the Conservation Division, made the case to the Commission.
If it's a tall stand, cut and hauled off, anything like that?
The thought was that it would be weed whacked. Essentially, the method would be weed whacked upon its first emergence. Okay, so we've got small stems whacked. They grow back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. 2 weeks. They're whacked again. So,
are those fragments viable? Is that a risk?
That's a question. I don't think that they are. The roots are very viable. You have to look out for the roots, and it's a seed-producing plant. So I don't think that it's viable from the nodes of the stem. If you'd like, we can, the more I ask DPW to do, I think the less likely is I'm going to see implementation on this. If we ask them to bag, to rake and bag what they cut, we can do that. As one of,
I think if there's seed heads present, I think you got to do that.
Scott, this thing is,
no question.
We're not going to run this project like that, such that the thing is going to be in seed when we're cutting. If we don't get it in the first 6 inches to a foot, we wouldn't be implementing.
Okay.
The Conservation Commission approved dealing with the specific Phragmites infestations off Bridge Street in Osterville and off Scudder's Lane in Barnstable as a pilot project. However, they did not grant the blanket approval.
Meanwhile, the Town Council is in session this evening, and we sat down with Assistant Town Manager Tom Lynch for a preview.
And continue our discussion with Tom Lynch, the Assistant Town Manager. We're going to talk today about the upcoming Town Council meeting. On the agenda, Tom, we start off with a conservation restriction, something that we've seen before. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
That's the one where they're looking for public access to the property down in Cotuit. There have been discussions between the attorneys and the Barnstable Land Trust. However, it's my understanding that they may postpone it again this week to put it on for another session, but they wanted to put it on to carry it over from the old business from the last session.
We have two other articles of old business. Both require public hearings. Could you get into that a little bit?
Regulatory Services will be conducting a hearing on the purchasing of 2 smart cars and some transfer of some money to allow for the monitoring of the new parking meters down at the Bismore Park. We're putting in a parking system that's kind of green energy. They're going to be solar powered, and they're going to be 4 kiosks. And in an effort to get changeover down at the waterfront so people can go to the restaurants and do short-term parking rather than just a long-term parking, a lot of spaces down there. And Tom Geiler, the director, has suggested that rather than use the big vans, to purchase 2 of these smart cars, and it's estimated that they'll get like 35 miles a gallon. There's no monitor, you don't have to carry meters around like the old vans needed to, and it's estimated that parking revenues will generate an additional $220,000 next year, and this is all out of the Bismore Park Special Fund.
And also there's a community preservation appropriation for $12,000 for community housing. Now that is for consultant service. And what is the consultant going to be working on?
Well, the main effort will be to update the housing production plan. The state requires you to, every few years, to have an updated plan as to how you're going to reach your 10% goal of affordable housing and what efforts you'll be making to, when an affordable housing project comes forward, to perhaps increase the 10% or 20% that the ordinance under which they're coming in under may govern. So this is a chance to bring a consultant and update all the numbers, submit that to the state. They need to approve it. Then you have an approved plan, and you can move forward with implementing that plan. It'll also complement the local comprehensive plan.
And one last thing is that there's a grant acceptance on the agenda this week, and that's from the Business Improvement District.
Yes, they're giving us $10,000 to be used to help with some money that the police department has through community policing and some money the town's putting forward to put in 2 cameras on Main Street to just do some monitoring in areas where there's either high traffic or the potential for high crime. And this will be an opportunity for them to monitor that and see how it works and see if it helps with safety on Main Street.
Is there anything else that you'd like to get out to the public this week?
No, I think there's been a lot of discussion before the school committee with various budgetary items they're having. We've been having more folks at public comment coming before us.
As usual, the venue for this evening's Town Council meeting is in the Town Hall hearing room starting at 7 o'clock.
That's the only meeting on the schedule this evening here at Town Hall, and the Friday meeting schedule is clear.
And by the way, if you happen to have a commercial driver's license and would like to help out, the Senior Center is looking for volunteer van drivers, but you must have a CDL. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here tomorrow. I'm Mark Mumford.